a complete crime. But a simple mistake revealed the killer. A story of cold precision. And one careless moment. Rain had been falling since Thursday. It was the kind of rain that erases things. Footprints, fingerprints, the memory of a man walking quickly through an empty street at 11:30. Detective Nora Valdez stood at the window of the Harwick Hotel, room 214, and stared at the body of a man who had been dead for at least 6 hours. He lay on his back, arms at his sides, dressed neatly in a charcoal suit, as though someone had taken great care to lay him down properly after the fact. That detail alone made her stomach tighten. His name was Gerald Ashby, 62 years old, a retired investment banker with a modest fortune, a quiet reputation, and apparently one mortal enemy. The cause of death, the medical examiner would later confirm, was a single injection of potassium chloride administered directly into the bloodstream. Clean, nearly untraceable without a targeted toxicology screen. Whoever had done this knew exactly what they were doing. There were no signs of a struggle. The door had been locked from the inside, the chain still latched, though the window latch had been quietly forced and reclosed. A fact only discovered when the second officer on scene thought to check the rubber seal for compression marks. The glass held no prints. The carpet had been brushed clean in a narrow path from the window to the bed. Even the pillow beside Ashby's head had been turned to hide what might have been a faint stain. Whoever did this had done everything right. Every angle concealed, every trace erased. This was not impulsive, it was rehearsed. Nora had seen meticulous crime scenes before. She'd also seen meticulous killers make meticulous mistakes. She crouched beside the nightstand and clicked on her pen light, running the beam slowly along the baseboard. The lamp cord, the edge of the rug. Nothing. She turned and looked at the room as a whole. The untouched minibar, the television remote parallel to the edge of the cabinet, the single glass of water by the bed, half empty. She stood and exhaled. Canvass the floor again, she said to the officer beside her, especially near the window. The hotel's security system had suffered a partial outage between 10:47 p.m. and 12:03 a.m. Something the management attributed to a routine server reboot that had apparently coincided with a very unfortunate evening. Nora did not believe in coincidences. She pulled the maintenance log and found the reboot had been initiated manually from a terminal in the basement utility room. The room required a key card. The log showed the card used belonged to a housekeeper named Irene Castillo, who had clocked out at 9:30 p.m., and who, when reached by phone at 6 a.m., had no knowledge of any basement visit. Someone had borrowed her card, or cloned it. Nora built the timeline carefully over the next 12 hours. Ashby had checked in alone on Wednesday afternoon. He'd ordered room service at 7 p.m. A steak, a glass of red wine, which he'd consumed in full. He'd made one phone call at 9:12 p.m., duration 4 minutes, to a number registered to a shell company in Delaware. No callbacks, no visitors logged at the front desk. No one remembered seeing a stranger on the second floor. The killer had arrived through the window. Second floor, north facing, overlooking a narrow maintenance alley not covered by the disabled cameras. They had brought their own tool to force the latch. They had brushed their tracks, administered the injection, likely while Ashby slept, given the absence of defensive wounds, and departed the same way they came. The entire operation had taken at most 20 minutes. By the second day, Nora had a list of 5 people with motive. A business partner Ashby had quietly defrauded years earlier, a son estranged over inheritance disputes, a woman from Ashby's past who had filed a civil suit against him in another state, a former colleague who lost his pension due to Ashby's maneuvers, and a shadowy associate known only from offshore documents. She interviewed all of them. Each had an alibi. Each was careful, composed, and, in the way of people who have practiced their answers, just slightly too calm. Then the forensics team submitted their secondary sweep report. Among the items collected for analysis, a single fiber from the carpet near the window, consistent with a dark wool blend, trace amounts of an industrial cleaning solvent on the brushed section of floor, and one small item that had rolled beneath the radiator and gone unnoticed in the first sweep. It was a button, dark navy, 4-hole, machine-pressed, the kind found on a very specific type of jacket, the sort sold by a single luxury menswear brand at 3 locations in the city. It meant nothing by itself. Buttons fall off. Buttons travel in laundry. But Nora had it photographed, measured, and cross-referenced against every garment in every suspect's documented wardrobe. Insurance photographs, social media, court appearances. It was painstaking, tedious work that her junior detective considered a waste of time. Killers study everything except themselves. They rehearse the crime, not the costume. And clothing, in the end, remembers what the mind forgets. On the 3rd day, she found it. A photograph from a charity gala 8 months prior, published in a society column. There, standing at the edge of a crowd, was the former business partner, a man named Elliot Crane, wearing a fitted navy blazer. The photo was small, but the resolution held. She zoomed into the jacket. 3rd button from the top, present. 4th, present. The 5th, the lowest button, missing. She obtained a warrant that afternoon. Crane's apartment was searched. In a dry cleaning bag at the back of his wardrobe, the blazer was found. Its lowest button absent, a single loose thread where it had once been attached. The thread matched the button from room 214 under microscopic fiber analysis. His search history, recovered from a wiped drive by the digital forensics unit, revealed queries made 7 weeks earlier. Potassium chloride injection method, undetectable poison cardiac. Hotel window latch types, keycard cloning device purchase. He had searched using a private browser. He had deleted the history. He had even replaced his laptop. But the internet provider's server logs, subpoenaed quietly, retained the metadata, timestamps, duration, the digital ghost of a plan. Elliot Crane was arrested on a Friday morning, 4 days after Gerald Ashman's body was found. He said nothing when the handcuffs closed. He stared at Nora with an expression she recognized, not rage, not fear, but the specific, terrible look of a person who has just understood where they went wrong. He had planned the killing for months. He had disabled the cameras, erased his footprint, chosen an untraceable poison, worn gloves, closed the window behind him, and even turned the pillow. He had considered everything, accounted for everything, rehearsed every detail of a crime that should have been invisible. But he hadn't checked his jacket before he climbed through the window. He hadn't noticed when the bottom button snagged on the latch and snapped free in the dark. He hadn't heard it bounce once on the floor and roll quietly beneath the radiator. 1 button, 4 centimeters wide, the weight of a coin. He had built a perfect crime and unraveled it with a single, careless, ordinary thing he never thought to check. Because perfection, in the end, always forgets itself in the details that feel too small to matter.